Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Alien's Joy today. I am so grateful that you're watching. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you are coming on, or maybe a little bit later, join us for an amazing conversation today. My name is Alien Haan. I am your Alien's Joy host, and I bring you joy. I bring you good information. I have amazing guests on, and I'd like to introduce to you today Dominique Cousins. She is here today with an amazing story that I want you to hear. Dominique is the mother of two. She's a chef. She's a wife of two kids. And one day she went to the doctor and she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And just like many people that are struggling with autoimmune diseases, she was unable to get a resolution from her doctors and they didn't give her much hope. So in this case, we have just a miracle story that she's going to share with us because Dominique really found herself in a wheelchair and just being diagnosed with the most severe stage of MS and feeling hopeless, she started researching. And that is the story that she's going to share with us because she is now walking an amazing path of life and an amazing journey that she wants to share with you. So welcome, Dominique Cousin, today. Welcome, Dominique. Beautiful. Welcome to the show, Alien's Joy. I'm glad to have you here today on our platform, winwinwomen.tv. Welcome, Dominique.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited nonetheless.
Nervous is good. Excited is good. You just be yourself and tell me a little bit about what you taught me. You're a miracle. I love to hear I love to hear your story. Tell me first, who is Dominique? Where are you? And what is your life all about?
Absolutely. So, for anybody who even knows me, they know that I'm a ball of fun. I'm always laughing. I'm always having a great time. I enjoy that. You know what I mean? And I'm a mom of 8 and 12. And it's a struggle just by itself being a mom, and then also running a business with my husband. My husband is a certified chef, and he's been a chef for well over 12 years. And we've just always had this amazing business. What we built a business. It's called In-House Chefs, and I just have had the greatest privilege to really be his right hand person running behind the scenes while he is cooking everything. And we've been rocking and rolling. We were doing our life, just raising children, staying happily married, because those are struggles in general. But we were having a great time with that.
Yeah.
And then there was a day that it wasn't.
What
And
happened?
I think that that's what makes it hard when I was on, PTO, volunteering, doing everything within my church,
Yeah.
and bouncing up and down and being a good friend to everybody, and being a great mom, and then I wasn't.
Yeah.
I woke up one day after working out,
Mm-hmm.
and after a workout day, I woke up and my legs didn't move.
Oh, wow.
I
So
just
you went from da-da-da-da, being super mom,
Yeah,
super wife, busy life.
yeah.
Wonderful. I need your husband over, by the way, and cook for me. Yay for him. I always love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. But I mean, business was rolling, so things were great. You have two wonderful young kids. You were busy, busy, busy. You go to the gym, you come home and you can't move.
Really, it was genuinely, I think I worked out that evening, went to sleep, woke up that next morning to go to the bathroom, right first thing in the
Yeah.
morning,
Yeah.
and my legs did not move with me. I was able to sit up, but when I tried to swing my legs, to the end of the bed, I couldn't.
So they were paralyzed. They were.
Paralyzed. Yes.
Wow. And did you think your first thought was, what did I do with my workout? Did I do something wrong? And tell me, what did you do?
It was all of those things. I really did. I'm screaming for my husband to wake up. And I woke him and I said, I can't move my legs. I can't move my legs. So now I'm physically moving my legs. And then I had to move them in front of the other. My husband had to grab a hold of me to steady me just to get to the bathroom. But
Mhm.
after that moment, it was just so difficult to move. So I started getting a little feeling that morning, but very little. Couldn't wiggle my toes, couldn't, bend my leg all by itself, couldn't do a lot of those things. So at
Mm.
that moment, I tried to go back to sleep. I tried to figure it out. I mean, it was a lot that was going on. And from there, we tried to self-diagnose myself. It was, well, let's look this up. Let's Google it. You know what I mean? Where do you go? You go to WebMD, to kind of figure it out. And that's when like I started getting feeling. So I was able to then move, but very slowly. Like my foot is just dragging, dragging, dragging. Fast forward to doing a lot of holistic testing, and not even holistic testing, I apologize, a lot of medical testing, going to doctors, no answers, no answers. I stopped wanting to try because I was getting frustrated with my body.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are trying to work on themselves suffer with the same thing. You're trying and you get frustrated. So the more frustrated I got, the more I wanted to bury my head in the sand and ignore.
Yeah.
And the symptoms got worse. All of a sudden, I'm starting to urinate on myself. I'm starting to defecate on myself. I'm forgetting my words. I'm forgetting people's names. I'm forgetting, conversations I've had.
Mm.
I'm having tremors. I'm having shakes. I am like sporadic movements. The fatigue was unreal. It is worse than pregnancy fatigue, let me tell you. And this was just consistent.
And what was the time span here? So did this all follow up immediately, or now
Oh,
we're like
it, it
about a
was
month in?
it was now like 2-3 months in at this
Hmm.
point that it just was getting worse, and there was nothing I could do because it was the busiest time of year
Yeah.
for a business, doing as much as I can from a bed at this point, still not getting answers. It really did take a group of friends of mine that pretty much said, Dominique, we're tired of you burying your head in the sand. And they made doctor's appointments for me that
Yes.
could get me the answers.
And of course,
I
you
went to a
went to a
neurologist.
doctor, and then you went to another doctor, and you got
Yes,
some second opinions, and you tried a
I
lot
sure
of
did.
things.
I sure did. I
Mm-mm.
sure did. And when that doctor finally said he called me 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, and he said, sit down. And he says, I ran these tests backwards and forwards and backwards. I
Yeah.
have talked to your other doctors that you have went to see. You need to stop ignoring. You have MS. You have
Wow.
one of the worst cases we have seen. There is the white spots on your brain, your neck, your spine. It is covered. It is.
Unbelievable.
He referred you did last month with another doctor to the one that you've done with me. It has doubled. And he says you're
Unbelievable.
getting worse every single week.
Did they give you anything that was the cause? So, I mean,
Nope.
obviously it was not the workout. Was it something genetic? Was it in your family? Everybody?
It's that whole question that they don't know where autoimmune comes from. Sometimes it could be environmental.
Yeah.
They said there's a lot of things that can trigger it and
Yeah.
turn it on, which could be a lot of stress, you
Mm-hmm.
know, could be something traumatic, could be anything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
when they dated back all of my symptoms, it started 8 years prior.
So, so they said that actually the whole indication, the origin of everything started 8 years prior.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And they said at this point, you have now moved into active, primary, progressive form
Yeah.
of MS.
Yeah.
And what that means is that you get worse every single week. It's the fourth and the worst stage that you could get. They expressed to me that I'll never forget the words he said. He says, get used to what your life is like now, because soon you will be in a wheelchair permanently and you will not be able to get out. And there's nothing we can do, but we can prolong the inevitable if you get on this medication today.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you go from busy, 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 happy mom. You didn't have any indication. You had no idea. It had settled in your body somehow, and you're going over a couple of months time frame
Yes.
to the wheelchair yourself.
Yes. And at that point, I was, so from the time that he told me this,
Yeah.
it was 2 weeks later, I was in a wheelchair. I was unable to walk. And this all happened rapidly within a form of 3 to 4 months.
Dominique, I can't imagine mentally and emotionally what you have been through in that time. And still, of
Yeah.
course, because now with good implications that we're going to come to, but
Yeah.
you're still reliving it, but mentally, emotionally, that must have been just a huge train wreck in
Oh,
your
100%.
life, kids, organizing things around you.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Things are not accessible in a wheelchair, right? A lot of things
Yeah.
that you don't expect. Yeah.
My entire life stopped.
Yeah.
And so depression, that's a huge factor, and suicidal thoughts. Those were all things that was part of my life during that time. And what I find a tad bit interesting is that there is, you can look it up, and it's like between, I've read there's between 31 symptoms to about 40 symptoms that, again, based on whatever article you decide to read, when it comes to MS.
Mhm.
And on both lists, a lot of them overlap. And I had almost all of them. There was only two that I did not have.
Um,
Two symptoms I did not have. One was erectile dysfunction, and as well as loss of taste. So, okay, those
yes.
were really the only symptoms when I go back through them.
Mm,
And that was just a lot to bear. And I think the more that I read, the more that I Googled, I think this more spiral that I went down.
yeah.
And there was a moment where I said, okay, as enough is enough. I had a lot of encouragement, a lot of prayers. I am a faith-based person, and people helped me not be defeated and
That
not
was
to
just
give
gonna
up.
be, yeah. That was just gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
How did the kids react? Your environment, support system, your friends were there for you, of course. But it's a really, really tough deal to go through. And amazingly, obviously, and the power of prayer, right? Amen. I'm going for that.
Yeah.
But just to get through that with the kids and your husband right in the beginning, that is just a huge change in lifestyle, change in everything that you have to do there. How did
Yeah.
they react?
How they reacted, I mean, it's interesting. My kids, they looked at me and they said, "Mommy, we don't recognize you." So that was hard, you know. There was times where I could not remember their names.
Yeah.
I would look at them, and I would look at my husband, and I would say, I know those kids. I know them, but I don't remember their names." So that was devastating.
Mm,
But my kids, they stayed close, and they would pray. My son, he would just be like, "Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, God's gonna heal you. I promise you, it's gonna happen." It's very,
mm,
very sweet. A lot of people who do suffer with an autoimmune, if you look it up, there's a lot of marriages that end of divorce due to autoimmune. It's a
yeah.
very common thing that when there's a health crisis, that the spouse and the other cannot make it work. So
Hmm.
that was a huge fear for me. It was a real life fear. And I would cry out to my husband. I would say, if you find somebody new, make sure they're a good mom to my kids. Like, that was my real life. This is the stuff I was facing. This is the stuff we were discussing. And my husband looked at me like I was crazy. I mean, I look at it now and I'm like, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
And
he
he
is.
says, "I will never leave you." He says, he's like, you're dumb for thinking for the long haul. And he says, "I'm going to figure this out. You wait." And that was the last big push that made me make a decision.
Yes. Yeah.
I was given a book by my husband. My husband found it. He said, "Honey, they said that we can make changes with food."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Are you what?" And he
And
says,
that's where your light went
"Yes,
on, and you were
it,
like, I'm gonna take control of this.
yes." It really was. It was between a lot of, encouragement from other people, as well as my husband. And he said, "No, no, no. He says, I know why I became a chef. I
Mm.
became a chef for you. Didn't even know it. And so he said,
Mm.
I will cook whatever you say, whatever this book is telling us. He says, I'll make it all. Don't you worry. And that really was a huge part of my healing.
Mm.
I understand that not everybody has a chef for a husband.
Yeah.
I could, I'm like, y'all
Amazing.
really
Yeah,
should get
we
one.
love chef. Yeah.
I
Yes,
just
I'm
encourage
getting text
everyone.
here. Yeah.
Yes, everyone should get a chef for a husband. That's just my little thing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but genuinely, when I tell you, it is like you need to eat 6 cups of kale. We're eating 6 cups of kale, and I'm gonna make the kale taste good. You know,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
like
Yes.
every
Yes.
day we're gonna make it taste good. We're gonna do
Yes.
this really taste good. He says, "Look, they're telling me that you need to eat liver." Like I, you know, what I mean, anything, and he
Hmm.
did it.
So
And
this is where it started to, you went into the healing process with food first. So what are we going to take in our body? I have an amazing friend. She's a nutritionist and dietitian, and she always says, you know, yeah, I mean, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live?
where are you gonna live?
And
Exactly.
that is such an amazing statement. And unfortunately, honesty enough, I am not always so good at it, right? And I
Yes.
like to fall off the wagon frequently, but it is true. We become more and more aware, and we become, I always say in my coaching, I always say in mentoring to my students and clients, I say that if we are becoming more proactive,
Yeah.
we don't have to hit that wall when we're 60, 70. We're going like, whoa, let's go some healthy living, right? So we don't like to be that proactive and think about what are we going to do and what do we put now in our bodies that is going to affect us down the road. But good for you. So tell me about this story, about
Yes.
this
So
whole
it
healing.
was so truly it's pretty incredible that the more that I read and the more that I got around good and positive, influences and positive people,
Yeah.
they started sharing with me, and they started pointing out, "Hey, have you ever thought about red light therapy?" And I kid you not, someone would mention some type of holistic type of service or activity the day after I would read it in a book or
Yeah.
read it online. So I'm like, they're like, "Have you thought about red light therapy?" I'm like, "Well, yes, I have. I just read about it." "Have you
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
about acupuncture?" "Yes, I did." And it was like, "Have you thought about physical therapy? Have you thought about breathing, treatments? Have you ever thought about this?" And I'm like, y'all, this is a little bit freaky that every time someone mentions something, I just learned about that type of service
Yeah.
previously. So
Mhm.
I'm starting to do all of these things. There's like, "Have you thought about taking this particular supplement?" They did tell me that I was low on vitamin D. Sure did. Okay. So here's this supplement. Here's this. Have you thought about taking mushrooms and doing like mushroom tinctures? And so I'm doing all of the things
Mhm.
on top of I'm putting good quality food, real food in my body. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about no preservatives.
Mhm.
I am I'm figuring out what works for my body, what doesn't. That equals gluten, dairy, sugar, soy.
Yeah.
There's a whole list of no's that for the average body we probably shouldn't consume. But but
Yeah.
nonetheless, there was quite a bit that I learned. And my husband's like, "Okay, I'm gonna make this." He's like, "I'm gonna make you a spaghetti with no gluten in it, your homemade noodles, and no dairy, and no, sugar in the sauce." Like, not, and I was like, "Can you do that?" He's like, "Yep, I
Mhm.
sure can. I'll show you." And I mean, I have a laundry list of my favorite foods that are probably most people's favorite,
Yeah.
you know, favorite
Yeah.
foods. When I tell you, with no gluten and no fried oils and
And where's the
no
sugar? Yeah.
flour.
Where's the sugar? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and yes, there's a lot, but that's what we did. So I'm eating really great. I'm getting the right nutrients in my body. I'm getting, doing a lot of holistic measures of like working out. And it's like, go to a gym. And I'm like, I'm doing all of the things.
Mhm.
And that is what changed everything. All of a sudden, I'm out of that wheelchair. I'm starting to walk better on my own. I am,
What was the time frame there from your
From
in
the
your
time that
healing
I
process and working out slowly and starting to walk
right
again? How did
from
that
that
come about?
that period, that time period, it was about, I mean, I saw benefits and I saw improvement
Yeah,
result
yeah.
with, however, when I say the entire process was a good
Um,
year.
Unbelievable. Wow.
And
You are so strong. You are such an amazing angel. What a miracle. And doing it, I mean, really doing it. There's two things here, right? I teach
yeah,
people to be on a plan and stick with it. And I am the accountability buddy, right? As a coach to make this happen. And you just did it. And with food, that's just one of the most, it's one of the biggest addiction things in our country, right? If we go to
right.
sugar and food and eating. And so there's also this willpower, the amazing willpower that you displayed. Unbelievable to just tackle this with your husband together. I mean, of course, you were in it together. You have an amazing family. It is amazing that he did this for you. So lots of applause there. But just to tackle this together over a year, that's amazing, Dominique. Amazing.
It really is incredible. And as I went through that healing portion, I just had a huge support system that carried me and helped me when I didn't feel like I could. Um, they encouraged me, and that's what kept me wanting to keep going. The more that I saw improvement, the more that I saw people were, rooting for me, and my husband is giving it his all. When I tell you, he wakes up and he is like, "What are we eating today? Let me
Yeah.
figure it out."
Yeah.
I mean, I don't cook anything, but especially when I was at my weakest. When I was at my weakest, I couldn't.
Hmm.
I cannot move. I couldn't do anything. So he's doing everything. Like, he's bathing me. He is feeding me. You know what I mean? And that's just love. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people who don't have a support system, it's really hard if
Yeah.
they don't.
You were well taken care of. You had
Absolutely.
the caregiver at home, you had the friends, you had the support system, the family that worked with you. And now look at you, because I want to bring this up.
Yep.
Amazing. You amazing angel yourself. You're doing something with it. So I want to go there because this was over a year time. Now you told me you are running, you're working out, you're running around like a mom.
Yes.
And you're doing something amazing with your healing process. So
I
I
am.
want to find out about that. Tell me about your organization and what you are doing.
So it was during that healing process. I had a great dream and a vision of, there were people who were just like me. They're hurting, they're suffering in silence. They don't know what to do. They're very confused of what their life is taking on. I go back to those emotional feelings that I felt. There's quite a few that feel the exact same things I did. They feel them, but they don't have anybody. They don't have the support system like I did. And those are the individuals that's who I want to help. And so I created, and I'm the founder of the Phoenix Journey. Why did I name it the Phoenix Journey? I wear a phoenix around my neck for that reason, is because a phoenix is, it's a bird that lives for 500 years. They're strong,
Mm,
but then
mm.
and when they die, they rise out of the ashes, and they are stronger than what they were before. Who
Wow.
I am today is, I am stronger. I still bop around. I am all things mommying. I am running and rocking and rolling with our business. I am doing the same thing. I am back to my bubbly self when I walk into a room, and I want everyone to be, a friend, and I want everyone to bind together. Like, I am that person again. I wasn't for a really long time, but I am that person now, just like a phoenix. And I know there's other people who they need support. They need nutrition. They need a chef. They do. They need someone to cook for them. you know,
Yeah.
they need someone to tell them, hey, these are the right supplements. They need a team of holistic providers, of people, someone who just says, hey, you need this service, this, or physical therapy. You need this, you need these services. Here, let me give them to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need someone to take the guesswork
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what the Phoenix journey is going to do. We're taking the guesswork out of it. We're going to help them. We're going to tailor something that's specifically for them, with medical doctors in mind and holistic doctors all banding together, with all the other services, with supplements, that thing all together to create this beautiful regimen for every individual person. And we're cheering them along the way. We're giving them the support system that they need, so they can vent, so they can cry and not feel alone. And we're going to walk them through it, because that's what was given to me. And I have to pay it forward.
I am starstruck. I am starstruck by you, because I can feel what you've been through. I can feel it, the way you explained it. I can feel where your pain was. I can feel your struggle. I can feel it. It was so hopeless. Easy to go into this state of depression. It is so many people that will hear your story and recognize it on all, I mean, in all accounts, right? Just not being able to move. I can't, as a movement specialist, I can't imagine how that feels like, and what you've mentally overcome. Your strength and your energy shines through everything that you're now doing with Phoenix Journey. And I love what you're doing with your organization. I love how you explain it. It is an amazing, amazing thing to want to, from your own journey, to want to help others and to do something with that. So thank you for that, Dominique. That is amazing. How in the world can you have so many new things coming up also that you told me. Tell me real quick about 2024, because this is going to be just the start of an amazing journey for you with phoenixjourney.org.
Yes.
So tell me a few things that are happening and a few things that we can do to help you.
Absolutely. So our first thing that we have is March 30th, 2024. We are going to be hosting a 5K. It's like the rock and roll. So you can walk, roll, walk, you know what I mean? Like, or run. So it's a fun thing that we're going to be doing. And if you just want to support in general, by all means, come out, especially if you're training and love running, by all means. If you are wanting to walk for someone who suffers with an autoimmune, or just for yourself, come out and do so. We call it the ascent. The ascent is where you walk as far as you can, because we want to track your progress as you go on. When I was able to walk, I walked a few feet. Now I run almost daily.
Yes.
So track it. So again, it's the Ascent 5K. We also have September 28th. I'm very excited about this. This is our first annual gala, however you want to say it.
Gala, love it. We love galas. Yes.
And that is September 28th. It is finally booked and locked in. September 28th, 2024. It is going to be out in Spring, Texas. It is definitely going to be something that you'll have never seen before. It is going to be, yes, you dress up. Yes, we're going to have food. It's going to be food that's quality nutrition, because again, we've all been places where they have food and it's full of gluten and sugar and all the things. I can tell you right now, you're not going to have not one grain of sugar. You're not going to have one grain of gluten or any kind of grains, because those are typically hot buttons for anyone with an autoimmune. But nonetheless, it's all whole food, healthy. And not only that, we're doing exhibits that are going to be very immersive, so that others can understand what it's like, what someone with an autoimmune goes through silently, or just what individual services that we're going to be doing. You're going to see demonstrations done by them, so you have an idea of where your funds and your support is going. So it's going to be pretty impressive. It's not, we have musical guests. It's going to be pretty dope.
I am so excited for you. I am so excited for all the things that you have going on next year.
Yeah.
You're an amazing guest. You're full of fire, full of energy, beautiful self, your beautiful self. Thank you for being on today on Allianz Joy. Now, this is what we're going to do. We have lots of guests, so we're going to do a Q&A with the guest, and we have another half an hour together. But I am going to stop the recording, because right now I'm giving you some time. We are going to be on We are right now on Amazon, Apple, Roku, everything else. Before we go, I'm giving you the last word, absolutely. But I want to thank you, beautiful. And of course, we can find Dominique on phoenixjourney.org.
Yes.
Also, info@phoenixjourney.org. Give her your email so that you can get on the list.
Yes.
Take it away, honey.
Oh, that's
Last
exactly
word.
what I was going to say. So there is, I know that for the 5K, you can sign up today on phoenixjourney.org and follow that. You can also donate for that, because we have big goals for 2024 of how many people we're going to be able to help and give them the regimen that they need, as well as, if you stay tuned, you're right, if you give me your email, then you can get on the list for when the gala purchase of tickets is available. So again, if you want to volunteer or be a part, we are absolutely taking that. You can find all of that on our website, phoenixjourney.org.
phoenixjourney.org. Thank
Yes.
you, beautiful, for being on my show today. I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful for everybody who is on the show watching today and who is watching the replay, YouTube. We're all over. We're going to make this big this week. Thank you for watching Aliel's Joy. I will see you next week. Bye.